quick reminder, if you're new here, today's session is going to be, I'm going to sort of try to get into the nuts and bolts of how all this 15 minutes of positivity stuff works. Um, so the idea is that, if we get together on a regular basis, no matter where we find ourselves, in what state of anxiety or depression or joyfulness, whatever we do repeatedly, we reinforce. And the neurologic terminology for that is neuroplasticity. And I've shown you guys this video before, but I love these. So this is a time lapse. Have all these different connections to each other. On average, we're looking at like hundreds, if not thousands, of connections between individual neurons. So you're looking at like 100 trillion, ways in which these different neurons can connect with each other. And the reason that's relevant is because however those neurons connect with each other and whichever synaptic connections are the strongest and most reinforced, that's what determines our subjective reality. So if we feel depressed a lot, if we feel anxious a lot, if we feel equanimous or lighthearted, whatever it might be, that's basically because there's a certain collection of neurons that are communicating with each other through these synaptic connections. And the cool thing is, by doing what we're doing here, is we strengthen those, and there's two mechanisms. One is we create new connections, and then the other one is pruning. We reduce existing connections. And so I know for me, the goal has been to reinforce the connections of positivity and to reduce the number of connections that are involved in anxiety and depression and sort of things that I just don't really enjoy. So this is our way of participating in that process. And one of the fastest way that we can change our subjective experiences through breathing. And so we've done this before, this physiological sigh. And I thought today we'd just spend some time. Let's just practice several rounds of breathing and see if we can notice how doing this specific style of breathing or breath work, how it changes the subjective experience. So cognitively, sensorially, emotionally, and so forth. And really try to stimulate that awareness of like, okay, I can feel things changing, and I'm aware of how things are changing, because it's that awareness that when we reinforce that, that's really the synaptic changes that that we want to create. So physiological sighing is pretty straightforward. It's you take a deep breath in through the nose, and then you sip. This is the important part. So inhale through the nose like this, and then the sip is like this. Right? So you inhale as much as you can, and then you just add that extra little bit, and then you do a long exhale through the mouth. So as long as it takes. So here's one cycle of it. It goes like this. As long as you can make the exhale. And we'll just do a few rounds of that, interspersed with just letting the body breathe on its own. And the goal of today is to see if you can become really cognizant and aware of, what am I noticing in my body? What am I noticing in my mind as I'm doing these breathing exercises, and see if you notice anything change. So let's do that. Let's start by just noticing what the body feels like right now. So close your eyes. And just slowing things down, dropping into some stillness. See what you find. There's no right or wrong answer here. There's no way you're supposed to be. It's really just about dropping in and noticing, oh, this is how busy or hectic my mind is, my thoughts are. This is how the body feels. You can do a quick body scan. So starting with the feet, legs, and the pelvis, the belly and the torso, arms and hands and fingers, the shoulders, neck, and head. Just noticing, like, what's it like to inhabit the body right now. And then usually at the intersection between body and mind is what I would call our emotional being. So just dropping in and just getting curious about, like, what's my emotional state right now. Again, no right or wrong answer. It just is what it is. Just see if you can become aware of it. And let's do a few rounds of physiological sighing, and then we'll drop back into just letting the body breathe. So let's go ahead and take a deep in breath through the nose. Sip, long exhale. In through the nose. Through the nose. And the exhale, really just pushing out all the air out of your lungs, out of the belly. In through the nose. Sip. Let's do one more. In through the nose. Pushing all the air out. Keep going until you're empty. And just let the body breathe on its own. That was just 5 rounds of sighing. Just notice if the body feels different. If so, how and where. How's the body breathing differently? How's the body sensing differently? The state of mind altered in any way? And as we're noticing, just a quick reminder that what's happening in the brain right now is, in order to feel what we're feeling or experience what we're experiencing right now, there's a whole set of neurons that are communicating with each other through these synaptic connections. That's why we're having this subjective experience. And by intentionally having this experience, we are training, we're shaping the structure and function of our nervous system to become more acquainted and more familiar with this state of nerve. Let's do another round of 5 sighs. So here we go, in through the nose, sip, and slow out. Mixing the belly and the chest, in through the nose, again, sip, more. Last one. Out. Make this the slowest, longest exhale you can make. Pushing all the air out with the belly and the chest. And then just relax and go. Let the body breathe on its own. Again, just taking stock of how any sensory experience you're having now, how your emotional self feels, what's going on in the mind. My guess is there's a difference in how you're feeling now compared to when we started. It's usually the result of just changing our oxygen and CO2 levels in the brain. Maybe a little bit of a tingly sensation, slightly altered state, still normal. It's a great practice if or when you're feeling anxious. To control breath in this way, and it changes our brain chemistry. Spend another minute just being still and quiet. Remembering that this stillness is available to us at any point. We just need to remember to activate it. Sometimes breathing in the way that we just did is a really surefire way to tap into this calm and this stillness. Go ahead, open your eyes, going back to the session. And yep, hope that's a useful reminder. Um, I usually forget to breathe in this way. Like I have a hard time maintaining it as a proactive practice. Um, Usually I do it when I notice myself feeling dysregulated, but one of my intentions or goals is to actually make it a more intentional, deliberate, proactive thing because I think it just sets the tone for the mind and the body. So hope that was helpful. See you on Monday, everyone. Have a great weekend.